Hey folks, this is Matt once again, and welcome back to another review. And this time I'm going to be reviewing the Transporter films. Now, I'm not going to review Transporter Refueled because I just have, one, no interest. Two, I'm not willing to pay for it. And I honestly just don't want anyone else to do it either. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste my time looking for a torrent to watch some movie where it's the fucking guy who is the bad guy in Deadpool, Ajax, that guy being Jason Statham as the transporter. I just want to, I don't want to waste my time. But I'll review the first three transporter films. The third one's a piece of shit, which I'll get into, but I really enjoy these two. Starting with the first film from, I believe, 2002. And I actually saw this film in the movie theater. In the movie theater, I remember the trailer came out, I watched it, really enjoyed the trailer. I thought it was well edited. I thought it was really energetic, the trailer. I really liked the song Ricochet by Bionic Jive in the trailer. Ricochet off the wall, y'all. We're gonna brawl, brawl. And so that's what really got me into see it. That's what trailers are supposed to do. They're supposed to get you excited to go see this movie in the theater. And this was my introduction to Jason Statham. It was this film right here. I'm like, who's Jason Statham? Then after this, I'm like, oh, that's Jason Statham. And Jason Statham, he's a guy who, I guess you could say he's hit and miss with me. But even the films that I don't like, usually he is at least good in it. For example, I'm not a fan of War, but his acting is not the problem. I'm not a fan of Parker. Wild Card had maybe 2 or 3 pretty decent fight scenes. That was it. But I also enjoyed the first 2 Transporter films. I enjoyed Crank and Crank 2. I enjoyed Blitz. I know my friend Effrey hates Safe, but I liked Safe. It has a couple flaws, but it has this fun thing where he enjoyed War, but I hate War. But I liked Safe, but he did not like Safe. Transporter 3 was a piece of shit. The Mechanic I did not like, which they're doing a sequel to that, which I don't know why. The first Expendables I enjoyed. The sequels, not a big fan of. So, Jason Statham's track record is hit and miss, but again, 2 Transporters, 2 Crank films, Expendables, Blitz, Safe. The Bank Job, I barely remember. I have the film, but I haven't seen that in forever. I know before this, he had Ghosts of Mars, which from what I understand, he was going to be the star of Ghosts of Mars, which I would have loved. I still have fun with Ghosts of Mars. I actually still do enjoy that movie. I know it's a John Carpenter film a lot of people hate. I have fun with it. But I can understand some of the flaws. Ice Cube, I don't even mind. But if I had to choose, I would prefer Jason Statham. And that's what sucks, is that Jason Statham was going to star in Dog Soldiers, or at least thought about. But then he wanted to do the John Carpenter film, which I don't blame him. And to be honest, I would not be surprised if he went to John Carpenter and then the idea was he was going to star in it, so he said yes. And then I would not be surprised, like, well, Statham, you're not a big star, let's have Ice Cube. Which, now looking back, Jason Statham starring in a John Carpenter movie? That would be even more badass. And I don't even hate Ice Cube in the role. But Jason Statham? That would have been really cool. But that's because Jason Statham hasn't done that kind of movie. That's what he needs to do. Because, to be honest, his career's in a slump. Do a movie like Doom or a creature feature, or like your Predator movie. Do your creature feature movie. Something like that, please. That I'll be curious about. But this was my introduction, and this is the film that is the reason he became a star. People say, well, Matt, there was Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. There was another movie called Snatch. I haven't seen those films, granted, but I don't want to see those films because those movies don't really interest me. Those kind of films just, they don't intrigue me to watch. It's just like, sure, he's made films before. The One was okay with Jet Li. It was alright. I remember not minding the film. I've seen better, I've seen a lot worse. So the One was okay. But I'm saying all this, A, to give my thoughts on Jason Statham's career, and B, I really do think this is the film that really catapulted him, at least into the action genre of being a star. He may have done films before, but after The Transporter, then people looked at, whoa, okay, this guy, he's got, I think, some presence, he's got a bit of charisma, he looks like he's got a set of balls on him, and they're hairy, and he's a guy who would shave in the morning, he's not a fucking guy who would be on the cover of Teen Beat, which is what the guy in Transport Refueled looks like. He looks like a cousin of Luke Goss, or Wes Bentley, but Jason Statham just was like a man's man, which you had not seen in a while in an action film. And this was a new guy that didn't know he could do action. He can act. I do think he's a good actor. He has some good acting stuff in Blitz. And he's, in fact, I've never really seen a film that he's bad in, acting-wise. Maybe the script let him down, but acting-wise, I've always thought Jason Statham does good in the acting front. And I repeat myself, but this is really the film that got him out there. This is the film that sort of, okay, now he's arrived. And became a decent-sized hit, thus you had a sequel, then a part 3, then I think some TV show that might have been overseas, maybe there was some here, and then the reboot. I guess because they wanted Jason Statham, they wouldn't let Statham see the script. So Statham's like, you want me to do 3 more movies? You won't let me see a script? Okay, ciao. Which I don't blame him for that. And this is directed, it's kind of confusing because the artistic director is Louis Leterrier, the artistic director. And Louis Leterrier would want to do The Incredible Hulk, which I enjoyed. Clash of the Titans, which I don't mind. Now You See Me, which I've never seen. And I know there's a sequel coming out. And I think he's doing that Sacha Baron Cohen film that's flopping. I forget, Brother Grimsby, I believe. But I know that's flopping. So he's the artistic director, but then the guy who is just director is Corey Yuen. And I'm like, okay, so did Corey Yuen just direct the action scenes? If that's the case, why isn't he just called the action director? Or did Corey Yuen... I mean, yeah, this is an action film, but I would think that the... Like, who's the actual director? I mean, what does artistic director mean? Just when they're talking? I mean, I will admit there's quite a few action, but did Corey Yuen also direct the car chases too? Did he also direct the explosion sequences too? And yeah, it's kind of confusing, like, okay, well, which is which? Which is the director? I mean, but apparently it says director Corey Yuen, so I guess I'll call Corey Yuen the director. But either way, I know it's about 9 minutes in, but sort of want to give my introduction to Jason Statham. Because the movie itself is a very fast-paced, straightforward movie. It was fun to see this in the theater. It was fun to watch this nowadays. I don't know. I think there's some French DVD overseas that maybe has a little bit cut back in. But it would be nice, I'm surprised they haven't done this yet, to have a DVD or Blu-ray that has all of the deleted scenes put back in. All of them. Not just some, all. If you're wondering, this is a flipper disc. Pretty much, you have flip it. One side is widescreen, one side's full screen. One side has a little making of from back in the day in the trailer. The other side has some deleted scenes. And the full extension of the fight scenes, which had to be edited back to keep it PG-13. And also the deleted scene that's in the trailer, where there's a missile coming and Jason Statham deflects it, and then it goes into the oven. Well, in the movie, it's just the bad guys shoot the missile, it goes in and blows it up. But again, you watch the trailer, you see that Jason Statham's kid actually deflects it. And I know in the commentary, Statham's like, well, I had to cut that out because it's a bit too unrealistic. And I'm thinking, these films are never realistic. That was a mistake. I thought that was a cool shot. It should have been left in the movie. I like that shot. That looked cool. And again, when you get to these films, I mean, realism goes out the door. These are comic book movies. These are, you know how you think of Commando as a sort of a comic book fantasy type of movie? That's what these are. But you know what? They're fun. Now, do they have their problems? For example, this one, yeah. There's a couple plot holes that you could drive a truck through. For example, there's a sequence where you have 2 trucks. And remember I said 2 trucks. Because when I get to finale, that matters. Well, I guess I'll mention it now. About how the bad guys are dealing with human trafficking. And at one point the bad guy says, oh, there's 395 people. And Jason Statham stops 1 truck, container. But first off, there's not going to be 395 people in 1 container. I'm sorry, that's bullshit. There were 2 trucks with 2 containers. And what happened to the second one? It disappeared into thin air. Was it a decoy? Was it caught up with the cops? You never hear or see that container again. So were there people in there and they went bye-bye and now they're in the human trafficking? But that's okay. The lead girl's family is safe. Fuck the other truck. I mean, you never see, you never hear, you never get the info. So you get some plot holes like that. You're like, the fuck? That's a really big plot hole. There's even a commentary with Jason Statham and the producer. And even I think the producer mentions what happened to that second truck. And then he just throws out, well, I think they caught up with it up ahead. But it's not in the movie. I mean, so there's certain plot holes like that. If you're going into this for realism, you're not getting that. The lead actress, Shu Qi, she's there, but she's not really that strong of an actress. I mean, maybe because she has the thick accent. I think some people could take her or leave her. I was okay because I've seen part 3 and that lady with like the 700 freckles on her face in part 3, that's a lot worse actress than this lady. And, you know, she's given a limited amount to do. She's pretty, she's hot, fucks Jason Statham, PG-13 style, does that well enough, there you go. But yeah, if you're going to see this film, you're going to see it for Jason Statham and the fight scenes, and they work very well to this day. And another interesting person behind the scenes is the director of photography is Pierre Morel. The Pierre Morel, who would go on to direct Taken, worked on this movie as the DP, the director of photography. Sort of the cameraman, you know, like cameraman lighting, how you want to call it. Which is very cool. Very cool. And I can't believe Luc Besson, Robert Martin, and well, maybe I can believe they wrote it because, like I said, some of the plot holes in the script, they're not the best writers, especially when you get to like the Taken sequels and fucking Columbiana. So maybe I can believe that they wrote it, but it is well directed, and the action, the fight scenes are well choreographed, very entertaining fight scenes to watch, and Jason Statham definitely has a good presence, bit of charisma, as we're introduced to Frank Martin, who is a transporter. He's really strict on rules. He never changed the deal. No names. Never opened the package. We see him at the beginning on the job. And he's very calm, cool, collected. These guys who are robbing this place are like, hey, move the car, man. He's like, no, hey, there's 4 of you. Rule number 1, never change the deal. You said there'd be 3 people, which means it would weigh this amount. And the stuff that I put into the car, the car's not going to move correctly. if we get into a car chase, then we're more liable to get caught. And it makes one of the robbers kill one of their own, so now there's 3 robbers, not 4. And then you get a fun car chase, well done, practical. He's driving backwards, he's driving the wrong way, he's driving through narrow alleys, he drives off a bridge to get fit narrowly into, I don't know what the hell you call it, one of those vehicles that have a bunch of cars on them, sort of a trailer that has a bunch of cars, and Jason Statham shoots some, so some cars roll off and stops some of the cops. He drives by a train, gets across it, near miss, and again, he's very strict on his rules. They want him to drive somewhere else. He's like, no, no, no. This is where the deal's done. Goodbye. And then the ironic thing is that later on, those guys get caught because the next person they went to was a shitty driver. But yeah, you get the idea of Frank Martin. Frank Martin is calm, cool, collected. He has his fancy car that he has to type in the code so only he can drive it. He has these plates that will flip over to change, and then he has like different sets of flipping plates, like 2 or 3 per set, which is pretty cool, fancy car. You have this guy, which he's okay. He's a cop who is friends, kind of sort of knows Jason Statham's character, kind of sort of his friends. And as the sequels go on, he is really Jason Statham's buddy. And he's a cop, and, you know, he's not an asshole to Jason Statham. He's kind of cool with him. Seeing how this is going, seeing, you know, have you done anything lately? Knows that Jason Statham's character had a background in the military. And I will say the movie does run at a very not a leisurely pace. It really gets the ball going. I mean, you have a fun car chase, then get to the next job, working for the bad guy, ultimately, which is Matt Schultz. Now, Matt Schultz, that name rings a bell. This is the guy who was in the very first Fast and Furious movie. And he would come back in Fast 5. And I thought he was pretty decent as the bad guy. It looked like he was having fun in the role. Definitely has a smirk on his face. He's definitely not bored. He's not stereotypical, straight and serious. He's having a little bit of fun. He knows he's having a fun, popcorn film. Yeah, I like your style. Yeah, you don't like names. That's right. He's sort of playing with the role. And I liked him. And goes for a delivery. Jason Statham. That's who Jason Statham's going to meet. He's driving the car. Flat tire. There's someone in the trunk. And it's this Asian woman. I believe by Shu Qi. I'm not sure how to say her last name. Qi is how you spell it. Doesn't know what to do. Lets her use the bathroom. She tries to sneak away. He gets her. Carries her over. There's 2 cops. And this is where you first get the Jason Statham can fight like a motherfucker. Kicks this guy's ass. Hits this guy in the face. And I will say these Yuen or Louis Leterrier, whoever you want to name, they know how to choreograph and they know how to shoot action. I understand what's going on. There's no schizophrenic, epileptic editing. I understand the movements. It's not cutting too many times, so you can see certain fluid movements. There's wide shots. If the guy can do it, let us see what he can do. Don't let editing make us think, oh, this guy's so shitty, you gotta hide it through 1,000 edits. Here, the editing and the fight choreography worked very well because of that. And later on, which I completely forgot about, he put the cops in the trunk, and you find out later because he has these 2 sodas. I'm jumping ahead. Knocks him out. Long story short, he gets the girl because he's doing his job. That's what he is, which is a shady thing to do. but he delivers it. Matt Schultz asks for another delivery. Jason Statham takes it. He's on a break, eating. He's going to get those 2 sodas. And he had done this before for the girl, to put a soda and have her drink it. And so when he asked 2, he said, oh yeah, okay, there are people in the trunk, that's why. Remember those 2 cops? Then the car blows up. And you realize what he was given was a bomb. And then those cops were killed. He didn't know that was going to happen. He's pissed off. He's angry. And now you're messing with a Frank Martin who's pissed off and going to fuck your shit up. And that's where you did another fun, entertaining fight scene where he jumps and kicks down the door, and a person looks through the peephole and knocks his ass. Kicks the door down, door flies off and hits the fucker in the face. Beats everyone's ass, taking names, shooting people. He's not a guy who's willing to kill people willy-nilly. He's shooting them in the kneecaps, be able to shoot when he has to deal with these 2 guys who got axes. And again, it's wide shot, it's not up close, it's edited in a consistent pace, it's not edited so quickly you don't understand what's going on, like as if there's jump cuts in between. No, it goes in a fluid motion. He's blocking the axes. There's 2 right here, and wide shots where bad guy, Jason Statham, heading back and forth, getting the axes down, and he does like a double kick, sort of a double, I don't know what you would call V kick, like jump, hit them both at the same time. There's another guy, he jumps and does a little jump kick right into the fucker's chest. Gets a car, drives away, the girl's in, asks her, takes her back to his place, wants to know what the fuck's going on. That cop, and then she sort of immediately takes a fancy to him. I mean, even that his cop buddy comes by and she sort of gives him an alibi, saying, oh yeah, I picked him up and he had a kind face. The cop leaves. That's where you get the missiles that blow the whole place up. Good practical explosions. Again, I wish that scene with him diverting the missile, yeah, it's unrealistic. Yeah, you could say it's goofy. But at the same time, it's the transporter. The sequel, pretty much anything in these movies are goofy. They are. You're not going to these films for realism. You're going for popcorn entertainment. And these films, at least the first 2, worked well for that. And I'm not sure which is my favorite, the first one or the second one. I enjoy both of them. And when they release Nelly, he goes to see Matt Schultz. He gets arrested. His cop buddy helps him up by pretending to be a hostage so that Frank can go and kick some ass and find these people in these containers, this human trafficking, slave type of stuff. And that's when you get a great collection of fight sequences. First in the shipyard, in the containers, and in between the containers, has a little fight with Matt Schultz. And then having a fight with these guys and these lids of the containers, flipping one, blocking one group of people off so he can fight these guys, get them and throw in the door so he can fight these guys. Even a fun moment where he's able to tangle 3 arms. And then again, you have a wide shot. And him just beating the shit, poo, 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 poo. While he has these 3 guys tied up, and he's actually kicking them. That's what he's doing. He's kicking one guy here, here, here. Kicking these 3 guys back and forth. And again, it's a wide shot. If the guy can do it, just show it. And it looks cool. And you know what's going on. And it's not confusing. It doesn't give you a fucking headache. That's what's nice about it. Especially, that's what's nice to see. That's what makes the film fun. And then he's fighting a little bit between the buses, and he gets in the bus, and there's a very cramped space, but he's fighting them left and right and center, squeezing through, using a knife and stabbing people in the shoulder. Again, well done choreography. And then it leads to a fight. He's fighting this big guy. I like when the big guy grabs him and Jason Statham gives him like a bunch of haymaker nut punches. Like, boom, boom, boom. And the guy feels it. And then in the garage, he's able to pour oil around so it's slippery, and he's sliding back and forth away from the bad guys. And he takes this bicycle and gets off the bike pedals to put on his feet. So everyone's slipping by him. He's doing some really great, good-looking roundhouse kicks to people's faces. Guys shoot. He takes the big guy, deflects the, blocks with the bullets, and then they both fly out the window. And yeah, it's well shot, like camera from up above or camera from behind. And instead of nowadays it'd be like 30 shots, here's maybe 3 or 4 shots tops. But nowadays that'd be, I'm being realistic, 15, 20 shots instead of 3, 4 shots. Which you don't need, but they keep doing it. But back here, these people knew what they were doing. And again, maybe people won't like this because the plot is not in depth. Again, there are plot holes. But you want a fast-paced 90-minute ride with a solid lead and fun fight and action sequences, stunt work, then this is my kind of entertainment. And I like the music too, especially there's a piece of music like da 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 ba da 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 ba da ba da 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 da. This happens especially when he gets in fight scenes, and I just like that piece of music. And the rest of the music isn't too bad either. But that's my favorite piece of the soundtrack. That's a piece of score. One reason another, he's chasing the bad guys in the semi-truck with a container. Gets with the guy who flies a plane, parachutes down. Kicks a guy out of the truck, sort of Raiders of the Lost Ark style. Little fight in the truck with Matt Schultz. Again, in a cramped space, but it's well done. Well choreographed. Jason Statham gets kicked out. He's under it. Takes a tire iron, throws it into a guy's face in a car nearby, shooting at him. Does this really cool looking, gets on top, and does this really cool looking really cool looking dive that then comes in and kicks Matt Schultz. How do I describe it? He's on top, and he does this dive, and then goes into a swing right into the windshield. Right into the woman. Right into the windshield. And just fucks up Matt Schultz's day. And again, that's when I'm like, wait a minute. He has the one truck and he stops it and everything seems fine. And you think, wait a minute, what about the second dictator? And then the other bad guy, who is the Asian girl's father, tries to kill Jason Statham. I did like this one bit that he does have a piece of something behind his hand. So we're led to believe that he's going to do something because he's been doing stuff throughout the film. So it's like he's capable of doing something, but then they let the girl have her moment to save Jason Statham. So it's just a nice little thing that he wasn't completely... There was a chance, but it was sort of a misdirection. But it was sort of an interesting little misdirection that I don't see a lot in action movies. Just sometimes those little things are interesting to me as well. Shoots your father, his cop buddy and other cops arrive, they open up the container, people come out, people are smiling, yay, the end credits are playing. I'm like, what happened to the second truck? What happened to the second container? There was a piece of dollar that said there were 395 people. There's not 395 people now, one fucking container. That's bullshit. Even if you had 7 people, even if you had 10 people, you couldn't even have a third of that. You couldn't have about maybe 100 people in that truck. That's bullshit. What happened to the other truck? Where is it? So that's what I mean. That's only one of my only gripes of the film, is that there's plot holes. That's the biggest one for me. I'm sure others will find other holes, but that's the one that I had to mention. Like, what the fuck happened to it? Did they fucking explode into thin air? Were they abducted by aliens? Were they picked up by Jack Burton on the Pork Chop Express? He's like, my vehicle's gone, I'll take you from here, and went to have some big trouble in Little China? Where the fuck did they go? They went with Chris Pratt to join the Guardians of the Galaxy. So I don't know what happened to them, but other than that, and the female lead, she kind of falls in love with Jason Statham, seems a bit too quickly, and it's not the strongest actress. But other than those two little things, but you know, I'll take her over the girl in the third movie. Because again, you know, at least she didn't annoy me as much as that girl in the third movie, which I'll get to. Still, Jason Statham, fast-paced, very, it was cool watching it again because it's definitely a very young Jason Statham. Even his voice is not as deeper as it is now. It's just sort of interesting to see a younger Jason Statham, and well done fight scenes, action scenes, stunt sequences, car chases, a little bit of everything. And this is a PG-13 film that does work, I will say. It shows that you can do a film PG-13 and it doesn't suck. But I would like to see if there was some kind of fan edit where they took all the deleted scenes, like these extended fight sequences and the deleted scene with the deflecting the missile, to take all that and put it into an edit. I would love to see that. I would really love to see that. But I mean, that's like a lot of fan edits. Like, I would love someone to do a fan edit of Jacob's Ladder and take all the deleted scenes and put them back in and see that edit. I mean, I'm a fan of fan edits of that nature, but they don't always get made. But that's what I would like to see on this. So overall, I know this is a longer than I wanted review, but it was sort of 10 minutes of me talking about Jason Statham by itself, and then sort of giving my thoughts a little bit on the sequels, which I'll get a little bit more in depth in. And overall, it's weird. Leonard Maltin actually liked this. Heart-pounding action from start to finish from Leonard Maltin. I didn't realize that it was Leonard Maltin, but I agree with him. Definitely the reason to watch this. It's an entertaining film. It's a fun popcorn action flick. So, hey, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.